Welcome to the SaaS AdLab podcast, where we bring to you the stories of SaaS founders, entrepreneurs, and CEOs. My name is Luis. I'm the owner and founder of Fantôm agency, a digital marketing agency specializing in scaling SaaS companies. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing Luca. He is the founder and CEO of Skaffolder. Thank you so much for being on here today. It's a pleasure having you, and I really look forward to speaking with you. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about Skaffolder? Give us a little bit of background and info on, who you are, what you've done in the past, and things like that.
Yeah, of course. It's a pleasure for me being here. And I started my career as a software developer. So I was a developer. I still code sometimes during the night, but and now I definitely switched to the business side.
Uh-huh.
And from my previous experience in a big company working in IT space, I feel the problem uh, to automate some work in this process in the software development area. And so it's for this, is from this experience, from problem that I felt on my own skin, that started the idea of Skaffolder.
Uh-huh.
So basically I used to repeat over and over the same code and copying and pasting pieces of code. I don't want to keep it too technical, of course.
Uh-huh.
But basically, it's something that is very repetitive, is time consuming, is error prone. We created this algorithm that is able to automate some processes.
Very cool.
Basically, a lot of work is also boring for developers. It's repetitive. So we were able to save that 30-40% of work and time that are sometimes a lot of money for the companies.
Very interesting. So as far as the obviously, the perfect customer, right? Is that I'm trying to look at a couple of different ways that I can ask this question, but essentially, would the perfect customer then be maybe an agency, or is it a freelancer that wants to spend less time on these? Because the way I see it, right, if you're a freelancer, you almost want to be able to spend more time on something if you're getting paid hourly.
It depends by your way to work, but of course, if you're able to provide the same quality service with less time, is a point of value, both for your customer than for you. They sell yourself better. But of course, our mainly target customer are software development companies. So companies that used to produce more than 10 projects per year, and they really need automation because they repeat the tasks over and over, and especially in a big structure, you need to standardize some processes, and it brings a lot more of value. Of course, for users that want to code for themselves, usually are single developers that likes to code by the night. They don't want to save time. They enjoy doing this.
Right.
We offer a forever free version. These are users, but not our main customers.
So as far as sales go, right, and this is obviously like one of the most difficult areas for every single company is getting the actual customers. What was the process like from, obviously starting out and getting your product into the market, and then actually going out there and getting those first 10 customers?
Yeah, actually, wasn't easy. Wasn't easy also because selling to developers is really hard. As a developer, it's difficult that I buy something for myself. It's different as a company. As a CEO of a company, we also buy a lot of tool to improve the efficiency of our work. So basically, especially in the starting phase, was very useful having direct contact. So direct contact that give you that trust that is easy to get when you have a lot of customer as a referral, or if someone trusts you, if you give a reliable image, sorry. And our first customer was a big company in Italy that I knew personally. And after them, we also had a project with Accenture. And Accenture is actually a big referral, so it
Yeah.
gives trust. So now is easier to go ahead and giving a strong image of us.
Yeah. What was the process to get Accenture as one of your clients?
Yeah, we wasn't fast definitely. So we have first few calls. We get in touch. We show some demos, and we talked about using Skaffolder in one of their project,
Mm-hmm.
and wasn't that one that they used Skaffolder for. After sometimes they called me back and they said, "Hey, there is a project that fits for Skaffolder. So this is the right time, the right opportunity." And so we started this. Is actually a big project. Is a 10 million project that
Wow,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Accenture is running in collaboration with Ernest Young and using Scaffolder. So very
That's
proud.
really cool. That's really awesome. And as far as how many people are currently using Scaffolder, and how are people finding out about it?
Mm-hmm. Right now we have more than 5,000 users on our platform, and we are growing fast with a very fast growth rate.
That's awesome.
And there are some big enterprise on board that are the main revenue stream, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
And the main channel to acquire not only customers but also users is basically content marketing and outbound marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So we reach them directly by mail or by referral contact, participating to events.
Right.
Uh, I'm actually attending to all the events when I started in Rome and now here in Austin.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's awesome.
this helped to build a network, and it's also a
Right.
wonderful personal experience, I should say.
Definitely, and I think that's one of the best things about business, right? Is that you get to go to all these networking events, you get to meet people and everything. But I think one of the best things that comes with it is it's not some like obviously right like landing clients and making money and all that stuff is nice. But I think the fact that you're actually when you're going out to these events and doing all these different things, you're actually meeting people that are very similar to you in a sense, but you go beyond that and actually start making relationships, and you start to make friends with people in Rome or people in Austin, Texas, and all sorts of things. And that's when it becomes a beautiful experience to be able to provide value, but actually build a relationship around it.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and it's some things that uh, give you something back. So is not only attending to event, but also meeting these new people. You open your mind in some way
Exactly.
because you get to know a lot of different experience and yeah, it helps a lot.
Definitely. Now, when we're talking about, sales and outreach and all these things, does that mean that you have an in-house sales team? Are you having somebody outsource that kind of job? My assumption is that maybe you're not as involved as you used to be, obviously in the earlier days, right? When you were first getting started. And now you have up of over 5,000 people using the product. So you can say that growth is definitely there.
Yeah, actually, I'm an engineer, so I'm not a salesman. Definitely, there are different mindset, different approach. So actually, I started being the very first sale in
Right.
my own company,
Uh-huh.
and I still do some sales, but right now I have a director of sales, Andrew, that is very able and he have that skills that compensate my one.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Definitely.
definitely, we have a wonderful team. Not only Andrew, but both the team in Rome and in Austin. We have two different squatters. They work very well.
How big is the company employee-wise?
Yeah, actually, we have four employees in Rome for the operational part, so the development, UXD, and the marketing.
Mhm.
Here, I just hired some months ago 2 wonderful people because I'm here since January, so not too much, just 5 months,
Very
6 months. And I hired a former IBM executive, Marta. She have a wonderful experience. She's very tech. And Andrew that is helping me with sales.
Very cool. That's great. What is, as a company, what is the biggest accomplishment that you guys have had so far?
Yeah, actually, I should say uh, there are different things that we accomplished. Like definitely the contract with Accenture is a big goal, but also the fact that we are in touch with the Docker team and with Google as well, because our product is in some way very complementary with these technologies.
Mm-hmm.
So we rely on Docker to generate our web application. Basically, we generate a web and mobile application, and all of them are running into Docker. That is a technology that helps us to run this kind of application. And probably we can also integrate more with them in the future. So talking with the team, there are a few ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So very early stage ideas, but maybe we can come back in some months and it will be a reality.
Yeah, there you go.
And also entering in the Google Radar was very interesting because it's something that give a lot of reliability at trust.
Yeah, I can imagine obviously that, I feel like for really any company, any sort of, foot in the doors of Google it has to be pretty exciting. They're such a big company, and I feel like they have it's not necessarily in a good way, but they have so much control over everything that just being able to like tap into that has to be some sort of accomplishment, because it means that you're being noticed by this huge player, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely awesome. Now, one of the questions that I had, and this might be very interesting, seeing how it's very programmer heavy, right? So when you're collecting feedback from your users now, you
Mm-hmm.
know keeping in mind that a lot of them are doing the same type of work that you're doing. They're coding, they're programmers and stuff like that, and maybe they think, oh, like I could be doing this way better, or like I could have these changes that I how
Every programmer thinks that his code is better than others. It's normal.
exactly. So when that happens, right, when you collect feedback from other very talented programmers, how do you go about that? How do you weigh the options, and how do you decide, oh, we definitely need to implement this feature, or we have to throw that feature away, that's not where we need to go with the company? How do you make that decision?
Yeah, actually, we are very feedback oriented. So, just since the beginning of the company, we ran the focus group surveys, and we tried to understand this very particular world.
Mm-hmm.
And there are usually two main reaction after seeing a scaffolder. There is one part that is skeptical, that say, okay, I've seen a lot of code generator, but all of them provide a black box code that is hard to edit, to customize. So I don't like this.
Uh-huh.
And and this part of skeptical people, the most positive part, that after seeing a demo of the tool, they start to think different. So our approach is really to build a flexible code generator that, unlike others in the market, provide
Uh-huh.
flexible code, easy to understand and to customize.
Mm-hmm.
And other approach is still more positive, because they say, "Wow, this is really innovative," and so it is definitely something that works based on feedback.
Uh-huh. Definitely. That's good. That's good. And I like to hear, that companies are definitely feedback oriented, and they like to take that into consideration. I feel like we as people, we tend to close up when we get, some sort of feedback from someone like, oh, you're trying to criticize me or something like that. But I feel like most of it comes from a good place, especially when it comes to business. Like they're looking for a solution. If they have, if maybe they thought about it a different way that someone in the company may have, it could be, the one thing that sets you apart, or the one thing that's begins to like bring you forward even more, which is good. And I always like to listen to what other people have to say.
Yep.
When it comes to struggling, right? Like obviously, and remind me again, how long has Skaffolder been around?
Hey, it's actually not too much. It's 1.5 years.
Okay,
So
so
we started.
relatively young company still.
Yeah. We started in January 2018 in Rome, and January 2019 we moved in Austin.
And in that time frame, there's been 5,000 users.
Yeah,
That's huge. That's really awesome.
Actually, with a very low effort on marketing, so we didn't spend a lot of money. So this is definitely positive. Yeah,
that's
we had to retarget this approach because at the very beginning we had some problem. So if you think that on Google you can search for code generator, that could be something like Skaffolder, or a lot of people were looking for a serial Kgen code generator.
Right, SKU or some like sort of QR codes and all sorts of things.
Exactly.
I can imagine there's definitely some work to run around that.
We had to do a lot of refinement to our SAM CEO.
Very cool. What's one of the things that you found most challenging, right? As you build this company in such a short period of time, and you've seen such a tremendous growth within that time period, what are some of the bottlenecks that you've seen firsthand, and how have you tried to overcome those things?
Yep. One of the bottleneck that I think it's common in the B2B startups is that B2B leads sometimes can take a long time.
Yeah.
And a startup doesn't have time. It's the best asset that we can use.
Yeah.
So we have to move faster and go ahead.
So,
we refined, we solved this problem. We are still working on it. We'll never stop working on it. But mainly refining our sales approach, how we get starting with this process or of getting a prospect, transforming in a lead and in a customer.
And what are some of the things that you've seen have made the improvement as far as speed, right? As far as shortening the sales cycle for these B2B companies, what is it that was slowing them down?
Slowing down, sometimes it could be also the external market that you can't manage. So if a potential customer need to start a project in 3 months before is busy on a different activity, we can do a lot about this.
Right.
We fixed also this, providing training in the meanwhile, and starting to use the platform together with the customers. But definitely the things that helps to shorten time was knowing our customer.
Right.
So once you know your customer, you can address their question before that you get this question.
Right.
And this is very important because you're able also to demonstrate that you know what you're doing.
Right. When it comes to, and you mentioned this earlier on, but I just thought about it. When it comes to content marketing, what are some of the things that are working better for Skaffolder specifically?
Yeah, there are some buzzwords, if you want. Not very buzzword, are also something real concrete, like talking about DevOps and automation process, talking about how to build APIs, or content vertical on some technologies.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, a little bit of tech intro. we provide application in many programming languages,
Right.
so you can choose your preferred one. And providing also some languages that are very uncommon, very of niche. It means that you are maybe sometimes also the only player in that
Right.
space.
Right.
So it helps to get attention.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. A little bit more on a personal kind of point of view here, right? What are some of the things that you think you're not so good at when it comes to building a business?
Yeah, yeah, it's I think definitely that I'm not a salesman. Yeah, I'm very direct. I go straight to the point, and I had to learn some
Well,
techniques,
that could
approaches.
be a good thing too, though, right? You know,
Yep.
when you think about it, like a lot of the people you're trying to sell, they don't want all the fluff. They don't want, to be being around the bush, wasting time around it, because they already know what's going to happen. So being that person that is direct, like this is your problem, this is the solution that I have for you, take it or leave it kind of thing, and it could be a very quick transaction, or value exchange, right? Where you have obviously the money for the product that I'm providing you, and we have the solution for the problem that you can't solve. So it could be a pretty easy sale that way if you're very direct as well.
Yeah, I should say you definitely need to have a good partner because uh, also our target is composed by both manager and developers. Both
Hmm.
of them have to like Skaffolder.
Right.
So maybe I have an approach that is better with a category, and a salesman have a different approach that is better with another category.
Hmm.
If I talk with a developer, usually they understand that we are of the same family, how to say. So we can speak tech, and I understand quickly their pain and what they say.
Uh-huh.
So it helps. It helps definitely.
That's good, definitely. And what is something that you think and you believe that you're really good at, at doing for the position that you have?
Uh, that's also a very good question. But what is in my background is definitely the coding skills.
Uh-huh.
So I remember also when I worked in a previous company, uh, I was the faster programmer in the in the office. So if there is something that really um, we need to hurry up to deliver this, I can start to work for a night, and the next morning I
Like
got the
you get
job
it down and get it done if it needs to be done.
done. Yeah, definitely.
Very good.
But also in the business side, the execution is very important.
Hmm.
And I think mostly then I think I get some feedback that I'm good in executing. So in making things up and organizing all the people in the team
Uh-huh.
like a unique entity working all
Yeah.
together.
That's a good trait to have as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
important.
And Luca, uh, what is one piece of advice that you have that you think, that would be valuable to people? And the way I want you to think about this is, if you could go back in time and tell yourself one thing with everything that you know now, what would
Mhm.
that thing be?
Yeah. Definitely, there are two questions in this. I have two different answers.
Hmm.
So my main advice is to believe in yourself,
Hmm.
because if you think that you will achieve something, you will achieve it, and also if not, you always will gain something from this
Yeah,
experience. So with constance, you need to try and try, because doing error is the best way
yeah,
to learn. And if I had to start again, and probably I will start another company in the future,
Yeah.
I will start something different. Right now, I choose a market that is it's hard to sell, and now I have two big shoulders, so I got some experience.
Yeah.
But definitely, I will start with a different approach. Definitely finding customers before to build the product. So I
Okay.
think
That's definitely, that's one thing that I've heard before many times, from all the people that I have on here and people that I've just talked to,
yeah, actually,
around.
I started this project for my personal need, so it wasn't an idea to bring it
Right.
commercial. So it came later.
So the customer was already there, right?
Yeah.
You already had the need. That's
Actually, Skaffolder is built with Skaffolder. We
uh,
are very first users, if you want.
very cool.
So
That's
we
awesome.
use it.
That's really awesome. Now, as far as the people that you look up to in the industry or other companies that you look up to, what would those be, and why? What companies, what SaaS companies in the industry do you look up to, and why?
Yeah, mainly there are two big categories. One is the category of company that provide outsourcing services.
Hmm.
So they build a lot of projects for different customers, and they they need automation in this. Another category are big companies, big sorry, retail company maybe. So it could be a Whole Food, a Walmart that they have an internal IT development team.
Hmm.
Uh, they have a lot of standard inside also because they build projects for themselves.
Right.
So they want to respect this standard, and we can help doing this. So
Very.
on one side we have to standardize, on the other one to speed up.
Uh-huh. Very cool. Now, Luca, we've pretty much come to the conclusion of the interview here, but the last question, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate this talk, and I don't know. Maybe I can ask you, uh, how did you find Scaffolder? What brings you to get an interview uh, to
I think
us?
it was I think it was the fact that it's such an you know an interesting product, and the fact that it's very niche down, even though it's still very broad, right? Because you have your users where you have all these different programmers and developers, but you can still niche down into a certain category, right? Like you could still go even narrower.
Mhm.
And I think that's what really interested me. It's the fact that I feel like you're barely scratching the surface, but you could be going even deeper into one specific area. What is that? I don't know. It's probably something that you could find if you go into all your users and start really analyzing who are your power users, who are the people that are getting the most out of this product, right? Who are the people that are spending the most time on it? Who are the people that are not using many features? So again, instead of looking at how do you make this a broader product, how do
Mhm.
you keep it as agile as possible with very little features but very narrow, so that you can attract all those people that need that specific solution.
Yeah, that's very interesting on my side.
Mm-hmm. So thank you for a great interview, Luca. It was really awesome learning a little bit more about Skaffolder and on a broader view, just developing, right, and the developer world a little bit more. So thank you so much for being on here. It was a pleasure. And for anyone that's watching or listening, please check out Skaffolder if you have the need for something like it. It's a very cool product. And where can people find you online?
Yeah, we are on scaffolder.com with the SK. So you can find us on our website, and you can use it in the free version, or you can reach us easily,
Mm-hmm.
and we can show a demo that is what uh, impress more the people sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. So check that out, and you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and any other social media. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, Luca.
Thank you. It was a really a pleasure. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.